Hello friends, how are you? I hope all of you are doing really good. So welcome to Economics or Finance Excellency batch. And what we have been discussing about, we have been discussing about the government intervention to correct the market failures, right? So we have discussed about the government intervention in the various ways, that how the government intervenes to correct the market power, that how government intervenes to correct the externalities, how government intervenes in case of merit and demerit goods, which we have done it in the last lecture. Now, in this part, we are going to complete this chapter. Before we complete it, please, all those who are new to the channel, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and press the like button and also the bell icon so that you get all notifications whenever we are uploading the videos, because there is lots and lots of content beyond economics or finance also that you will get on this channel currently also and in future also. So let's contribute in the growth of your KSJ family. Right, sir, we have already done that. Let's start with the next government intervention, that is, he says, the price intervention, non-market pricing. What is price intervention, sir? That the government intervenes in setting the prices for correcting the market failures, right? Any market failure which is due to the pricing, that is, any imbalance between the demand and supply which is due to the pricing issues, the government then intervenes in the form of prices, right? Now, price controls are put in place by the government to influence the outcomes of a market, right? That how the market behaves, how the demand and supply. Now, the market has two components. One is the demand, another one is supply. So the price controls are put into place, keeping in mind both the things. Price intervention generally takes the form of price controls, which are legal restrictions on the price, right? These are done legally as per the law, as per the rules. These are the legal restrictions which are put into place by the government either on the supplier or on the consumer, right? It is like the government has to think from the viewpoint of both the supplier and the consumer. Price control may take the form of either the price floor or the price ceiling, right? Now let's try to understand what is a price floor. Floor, as you must be able to understand from the name itself, the price floor and the price ceiling, right? One is the bottom price, one is the upper price. Now, what is price floor? The price floor is set when there is overproduction in the economy or when the prices become extremely low. Sir, what will happen if a product is available in abundance? If there is overproduction of a product, then what will happen? The prices of that product will come down, right? Because there is already overproduction, there might not be demand to the extent the production is there. So the prices will become very low. In that case, the firms might suffer huge losses because they might not be able to recover even the cost due to the low prices, right? Example, if rains are good, then there may be excess production of the crops, which causes their prices to fall, and the farmers are likely to make the huge losses, right? If there is abundance in the crops, the demand is not that much. In that case, the prices will be low because the product is in abundance, right? And the farmers are likely to make the huge losses. But the government says that we will not let that happen. In such cases, setting the price floor is the minimum price. Price floor is the minimum price that the consumer has to pay for a product, right? In the form of the minimum support price ensures that the farmers are protected from the severe price fall, that if there is abundance, the prices at which that product will sell in the market will not fall beyond a particular price which is set by the government. And if the product tries to go beyond that in the market, the government says we will buy at this minimum support price, right? That is why the MSP is set for the crops and everything, that the farmers should not suffer. If there is abundance in the crops, the prices are expected to go down because of the abundance factor, that there will be no demand, but the huge amount of crops will be there, the prices will be low, then the farmers are definitely going to suffer, right? The government says, don't worry, we will buy your produce at a minimum support price which is there, right? And even the market cannot sell beyond lower than that support price. Setting the price floors above the competition market price leads to excess supply as compared to the demand. Right now, what the product would have earned in the market, if the minimum support price is above that, then obviously the farmers say we are getting a good price, let's supply each and everything, right? There will be excess supply as compared to the demand, right? A product is there in the competitive, we will understand with the help of this diagram also, right? This is what I told you, that the excess supply is procured by the government at the announced MSP. The government says that if there is an excess supply which for which there is no demand otherwise in the market because of the lower right, there is no demand and the prices are expected to fall, we will buy that extra produce, at the minimum support price, right? This is the price that you will the farmers will be minimally getting that. Now it is just an example of farmers, it can be anything else, right? It can be any industry, any product, any commodity can be there for which the MSP can be set, right? Okay, so this is the diagram. Now try to understand with the help of the diagram. Here we are taking the quantity, here we are taking the prices. Now when the prices, now this is the supply, this is supply, and this is what is demand, right? This is supply, one is demand, one is supply. Now he says when the price is 30 rupees, what is the quantity demanded? The quantity demanded being OQ star, right? This is the quantity being demanded where the demand and supply line intersects. Now he says if the government increases the price, the government says no, the 30 rupees is too less, the farmers are suffering because of the product being selling at 30 rupees, the minimum price of that product should be 60 rupees. So the government increases that to 60 rupees. Now what will happen, sir? What this demand comes to, this demand has fallen down now, OQ1. Now the farmer says again we are suffering, sir, right? Earlier it was due to the excess demand, right? But at lower prices we were suffering, that we are not getting the sufficient prices because there is huge supply, there is a demand, there is huge supply. So because of the lower prices we are suffering. And now when the government has increased the prices, this 60 is the MSP now. The government says this product cannot sell lower than the 60. But in that case, with the increase in prices, the demand will come down. Again, the farmer will suffer. Now what will happen, sir? Now what will happen? The government says, don't worry. Supply will be this much. And the demand will be this much. What about this gap? The government says, we will buy this product to cover up this demand, right? Government will buy. Government says, we will buy this demand. We will buy the product to cover up this demand because supply is equal to this A point and demand is equal to this B point. The government says whatever is the difference, the gap between the demand and supply, we will buy at this 60 MSP. This is the price floor. That is what is written here. At a free market price of 30, the quantity demanded and the supplied is OQ star. When the government set the price floor at 60, the government increases the price floor. The quantity demanded falls to OQ1 while the quantity supplied rises to OQ star. Right? Now, when the farmer sees that the government has, has increased the prices, he will be getting the right prices for the crop. He will increase the supply. Obviously, the supply has increased, but the demand has come down now. The excess supply of Q1, Q2 is then procured by the government at MSP. Right? Now, it is being procured by the government at MSP. Clear? So this is the first concept, that is price floor. The next concept is price ceiling. Now this price floor is from the viewpoint that the consumer has to pay, the minimum price that the consumer has to pay, or the minimum price that the producer should be getting so that he is not at a disadvantage. Now price ceiling says this is the maximum price that a producer can charge from a customer so that the customer is not at the receiving end. Right? So what is price ceiling? The price ceiling is resorted to when there is underproduction in the economy or when the prices become extremely high. That means when the supply is less than demand. What will happen, sir? The demand of the product is high, the supply is less. In that case, the prices of the product will increase, right? Obviously, the prices of the product will increase because there is less demand, there is less supply and more of demand. Now, in that case, the government puts a restriction on the price again. He says you cannot charge beyond a certain level so that the customers are not at the receiving end, right? Here, the government sets a maximum selling price beyond which a product cannot be sold. The sellers satisfy only a partial demand while the remaining demand is satisfied by the government itself. Now, the seller says that if I can't charge the price higher than what the government is setting the levels, I will not fulfill all the demand, right? I will not sell the whole of my product. The government says it's okay. If you don't want to sell it, I will sell it. I will buy from you, I will sell it. Simple as that. But I will not allow you to take the advantage of the customers by selling at a higher rates than the specified rates. That is price ceiling. Now, this is what is there. Now he says at a free market price of 80 rupees. This is the free market price where there is no government intervention. At this price, the supply is equal to demand, right? Now this is what is being demanded. OQ star. Right, this is what is being supplied and this is what is being demanded. Now the government says you have to reduce this price to 40 rupees. That is the maximum price that can be charged for this particular product is 40 rupees and not 80 rupees. Then what will happen, sir? At that price, now the demand has increased to Q star. The demand has increased to Q star, whereas the supply has reduced to Q1. Right, so this is the gap. This is the gap. Now what will happen? The firms will say that at maximum, what will they do is they will say we will satisfy this particular demand. We will satisfy up to OQ star. Beyond this, whatever the demand is, we cannot satisfy. Right? So beyond this particular demand, the government will satisfy. Right? Government will satisfy this demand. Satisfy this excess demand. Clear? Now this is what is written here. He says when the maximum selling price is set at rupees 40, the demand rises to OQ star while the supply falls to OQ1. In other words, out of the increased demand, only OQ star is satisfied by the market. The remaining demand from Q star, this is the remaining demand, is satisfied by the government through own production or drawing from the buffer stock. If the government is having the buffer stock, they can use that buffer stock, or the government can be involved in the direct manufacturing, direct production of that product and then providing it to the customers, right? So this is the price intervention in the form of price floor and the price ceiling. Now, the next is the government intervention to correct the information failure. So we have studied about the market failure in the form of incorrect information, right? Where we studied about the asymmetric information and all. Now he says if there is information failure, how the government can intervene to correct this information failure. Incomplete information hinders the rational decision making by the producers and consumers. It further leads to market failure if the consumers, while buying the product, do not have the correct information. Right? Why will the consumers not have the correct information? If the correct information is not printed on the product, then it will lead to the wrong decision. It will lead to the buying of the product by the consumer, which he or she might not be, wanting that product, but they might end up buying that product because of the inaccurate information or the incomplete information that is available. So how the government intervenes? The intervention measures used for correcting it are as follows: making it mandatory to accurately label and disclose the content of the product. The government says whichever the product you are selling, whichever product you are manufacturing, everything on the product, everything used in the making of that product should be clearly written on the label of the product so that the customer can check it out, customer can read that thing, and customer can make the decision according to that. Making the public announcement of the information to improve the customer knowledge, right? Publicly through advertisements, it can be through print media, it can be through social media, that whatever the advertisement modes are, the people should be made aware of the things, right? The information should reach the right people at the right time through the right media. For example, Jago Grahak Jago campaign. So the information should be given to the people that if a particular product is not in favor of the social welfare, then the people should know, what are the disadvantages of using that product. For example, the cigarette, tobacco, alcohol, for all these things which are creating the negative externalities, the people should be made aware, right? The information should reach the people that what are the disadvantages of using that product. And if a product is creating a positive externality like education, healthcare, then again the information should reach the right people that you should be making use of these products, education, healthcare, which are good for the society. But the problem here is that people do not get the information at the right time from the right sources. That is the major problem. So that is why the government says this information is important. Regulating the advertisements and setting the standards for the advertisement, it aims to make the advertisements more responsible, informative, and less persuasive. For example, the direct advertisements of the hard beverages is restricted. What is hard beverages, sir? Alcohol. Alcohol. He says the advertisements, whatever the product is being advertised, the advertising agencies should make sure that it is the right, they are providing the right information to the right people, right? It should be more informative, less persuasive, that they should not be persuading the people, they should not be showing only the good things about that, they should be telling the people right things. Instead of telling only the good things, they should be telling the right things, right? So this is how the government intervenes in the form of the to correct the information failure. Next is government intervention for the equitable distribution. Equitable distribution of what, sir? Obviously the wealth, the money. One of the most important activities of the government is to redistribute the income so that there is equity and fairness in the society, right? Redistribute the income, that is, there should be equitable distribution of income. It should not be restricted to the hands of only few people. It should reach each and everyone in the society for the benefit of the society. So equitable distribution can be achieved by progressive taxation, that is taxing the rich and giving to the poor in the form of subsidies and the free items. Targeted budget allocation. While creating the budget, you must be hearing the budget. While creating the budget, the target section should be there, that this much of expenditure should be done for this particular section for the equal distribution of income. Unemployment compensation can be there during the COVID scenario. There were unemployment compensation, that the people who lose their jobs due to COVID, who lost their jobs due to COVID, they were given the unemployment compensation by the government, so that at least they have some money in hand. They can buy the items for the daily usage. Transfer payments can be there, subsidies can be there, then social security schemes can be done, land reforms, gender sensitive budgeting, then special reservations for the specially abled people, for the people from the background, from the lower backgrounds, and all those things. The gender sensitive, or for the females, can be there, right? Special categorization for the females can be there, for males can be there. The government also take measures to combat the black economy, which is very important, and associated market distortions, which create such a situation that money lands up in the hand of few only, and it doesn't reach everyone in the society equally. The intervention measures which reduce the efficiency while increasing the equity are often justified, since the society greatly values equity, that even if the efficiency of the few things reduces, but there is equal distribution of income, that is more important for the economy, right? So this was for the distribution, equal distribution. Then there is government failure. The government failure says that even the government intervention measures can fail. Sir, when can they fail? If the intervention causes the wastage of resources, if the intervention by the government, if the government is setting up a special, let's say, a committee of people who are looking into this matter of the intervention, and if they are not the right people, the right capable people for that particular task, then it will lead to the wastage of resources, right? In that case, even the government intervention will fail. Then this intervention produces the additional and more critical problems. If it is such a complex structure, it is creating more and more problems. Instead of solving the problems, instead of making the problem simplified, it is creating a bigger problem. In that case, it will lead to a failure. So the policy makers need to keep the various factors in mind, that these things should not happen, right? The policymakers are required to consider all the cost and benefit of intervention measures and accordingly make the appropriate decision, that it should not lead to wastage of resources. It should not be, adding to the problem. It should not be adding to the problem. It should solve some problem. So this is all about the government intervention that we have done. The chapter is done and dusted with this, chapter number 5. In the next lecture, we'll be starting with chapter number 6, that is fiscal policy. Again, a part of this, that now We have studied about the government intervention, the various measures, how the government intervenes. Then there are fiscal policy measures by the government. What are the measures, various measures, the fiscal measures that the government is going to take in that respect. Right, sir? So see you guys in the next lecture with the new chapter. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, keep studying, keep sharing. Thank you so much.